Welcome back. Then the metal sector is doing well and a lot of ferrous stocks are moving higher. Whether they talk about the large cap names like a JSW Steel or you talk about a Tata Steel as well, both of them moving higher. Or other smaller, ferrous players like the likes of Sarda Energy, you have Godavari Power and Ispat as well. Both of them are rallying in today's trading session. So discuss what's going on, what's the outlook from here on. We have Manish Sarda, director of Sarda Group. He's going to be telling us about how is demand on the ground. And we'll also have Amit Dixit of Edelweiss who joins in to fill us in with details of his report. Well, Amit, I'm coming across to you first because you've gone ahead and you've upgraded Tata Steel. If you could tell us, what's the rationale out there? Your target price goes from around 330 to 450. So what's the rationale out there? And also, what's your view on JSW Steel? Because it's already reported its numbers.
Yeah. Hi, Nigel. So on Tata Steel, there are two things that are playing out. One is the global tailwinds and the European division, which has reported, I would say, very feeble earnings in last couple of quarters. We do expect a pickup over there because we see European spreads going up. That said, we also see, global money supply going up significantly, particularly if you look at Europe indicators. PMIs in Europe are above 50 for the first time in maybe 1.5 years. And we have money supply growth in Europe increasing phenomenally. So all these will act as tailwind to demand. So that is one part. The second part, of course, in case of Tata Steel, domestic spreads also are expected to improve for two reasons that we see. First of all, the domestic price is moving up now. We had already two hikes in the month of July that have been absorbed. And if my channel checks are correct, there is a third hike also expected in August. And coking coal prices are low, which will flow in the P&L in this month. So therefore, the spreads are off the lows in domestic market. European business would do better. So these are the two rationales why we have upgraded the stock.
Okay, so I've upgraded both Tata Steel as well as JSW Steel. Any view on SAIL? Because that's the relatively high beta, but they've disappointed for many, many quarters. And also, tell us any kind of target price you have on SAIL.
No, so yeah, of course we cover SAIL, and SAIL we have a target price of 31 rupees per share. Okay. We have also upped the target price from 28 rupees earlier, but we do retain reduced recommendation because of the simple reason leverage. We don't expect SAIL to turn around as rapidly as its peers in the domestic market, and that's the reason why we maintain underweight on SAIL at this point in time. In case of JSW, the question that you asked, well, we see risk and reward balanced at this stage because while earnings are expected to improve, we would consider that, impending BSPL acquisition and leverage is a concern for us. And of course, the valuation. So therefore, we maintain equal weight or hold on JSW. We have upgraded, of course, from reduced to hold.
Okay, so two upgrades, one on Tata Steel and the other one on JSW Steel. Amit, you said there is a possibly impending price hike in the month of August. What could the quantum be?
No, so my channel checks and market participants indicate that quantum could be 1,000 to 1,200 roughly. Now, you have to see whether this hike is absorbed or not, but consider one pertinent factor here that the South Korean imports on landed cost basis are at a premium of 1,000 rupees. So, and imports are coming down. So basically, even with the domestic demand, whatever it is, there is a good headroom for steel producers to increase prices.
Manish, if I may just ask the same question to you, Amit was just talking about how demand seems to have picked up. That is a tailwind. The industry has already seen two price hikes. What is the demand that you see on the ground, and can the industry absorb another price hike in the coming month?
Well, we've seen the price hikes of around 10 to 12%. And I think that what we are going to see is that the lockdown will ease up and, the markets will start slowly picking up again. And activities should start back, building, construction, all these things which have been stopped for quite some time. they will all start to pick up, and we will see a bit of demand coming in the coming 3-4 months. And I think there is a slight possibility of 2 to 3% increase further in terms of the pricing, as imports have dropped down considerably, as Amit has also mentioned. And we have seen that the material which is coming in from outside is expensive, is trading at a premium of 700 to almost 1,500 rupees. So there is a possibility of 2 to 3% further price hike that can go into steel commodities.
All right, Manish, I wanted to focus on another niche market, and that's the market that you as well, cater to. That's the pellet market. Now, if you could give us a sense in terms of pellet pricing, what is it currently? How much has the price increase been? And say in the last month or so, what has been the increase in terms of pellet pricing? Because a lot of pellet pellet producers, they are moving higher as well today.
So if you look at it, Nigel, for the last 10 to 12 days, the pellet prices have moved up from roughly around 6,100, 200 levels to 6,700, 800 levels. And right now, the pellet prices are looking stable. The movements are happening at these price levels. They are moving at around 6,700 levels. And I think primarily the pellet prices are going to be stable for some time, at least till the rainy season is there. As a lot of mines, are not working on full capacity. And that is one of the major reasons that I think that the pellet prices have moved up.
It's a big number you're talking about. If it moves from around 6,100 to around 6,700, you're talking about an 8 to 9% increase in terms of pellet prices just in the last 10 days or so. Give us a sense then, what about for y'all? Does most of this flow into the EBITDA number as well? And as you say that, in fact, the prices have moved up, demand is strong enough?
Demand is also there because there have been certain, production cuts due to shutdowns. People will take their, shutdowns, and mines have also gone under shutdown because of rainy season. There is limited supply of ore, and these are the reasons why the pellet prices have moved up. Also, the demand is on an upside. We are seeing the steel prices also going up a bit, in terms of long products as well as billets. So I think overall it will remain stable for at least next 2 months or so.
Manish, how much of the demand that you're seeing right now on the ground is pent-up demand and it could normalize, say, in 1 or 2 months?
See, always the price adjustments have to be there. The demand and supply has to match up. At some point of time, we'll see the plants coming back in and the ore supplies being in place. But I think till the rainy season, I think it looks difficult for me. But if it moves down, it should move down to 6,400, 6,500 levels.
Amit, do you look at MOIL? Because international manganese prices have corrected. So is there a case for MOIL to cut prices?
No, unfortunately, we don't look at MOIL.
Then, Manish, what about you? Manganese ore prices internationally, I was seeing there has been some pressure, whether it's excess supply or lack of demand. What is your sense in terms of manganese ore prices from here on?
If you remember, Nigel, over the last 1 month period, manganese ore prices have fallen sharply on the international index because it had risen up very sharply to 40%. And prices have now started coming off over the last 6 indexes. What we have seen that the prices have fallen by more than 25%. And there's a big pressure in terms of the low-grade manganese ore, which is coming out from South Africa, Gabon, Australia, Zambia, Namibia. All these small countries also have started pushing in a lot of ore. Brazil. So what we are seeing is that there's a strong pressure in terms of pricing on manganese ore and MOIL. I assume personally, that's my take on MOIL, that they will have to reduce their prices to the tune of 15%, in the coming month.
Okay, you're expecting MOIL to go ahead and cut prices by 10 to 15%. Well, thanks so much, Amit, as well as Manish, for joining in and giving us a sense in terms of how is demand shaping up on the ground. As Amit said, well, there are various tailwinds for the entire sector. And that's why, in fact, he's expecting stocks like Tata Steel as well as JSW Steel to fare relatively better from here on. And encouraging statements coming in from Manish Sarda on pellet prices as well. And the pellet manufacturers as well, the likes of Sarda Energy. They're smaller companies, but pellets, they constitute quite a large part of the EBITDA, particularly Godavari Power and Ispat. And that explains why that stock as well is buzzing. For Jindal SAW as well, they have a small pellet plant out there, but Pellet prices moving up by nearly around 8 to 9%. That's the sense that we're getting from the management. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for joining in. Well, on that note, though, we'll wrap up on this discussion. We'll slip into a short break. You come back and we'll focus on Yes Bank and Castrol. Their stocks on our radar. We'll get you excerpts from what the management had to tell us earlier today.